Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a new law taking shape in Turkey that could seriously change how the internet works there. We're talking about a real clash between online freedom and government control, and it is happening fast. So let's break down what's really at stake.
I mean, just imagine that for a second. Before you could post a comment, share a video, or write anything at all, you'd have to link it directly to your official government ID. That's not a sci-fi movie. That's what's actually being proposed in Turkey. And it brings up some massive questions about privacy, free speech, and what the internet is even for. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the new law itself. Then we'll get into its two biggest components, the ban on users under 15 and the mandatory ID verification for everyone else. After that, we'll dig into the loopholes and criticisms before asking the big one. What's the real goal here?
All right, so let's get right into it. Part 1, the new law. And you need to know, this isn't just talk anymore. This thing is officially moving forward. After the bill passed its first major legislative hurdle, Turkey's Minister of Justice came right out and confirmed it.
Yani bunu zaten zaman zaman da taahhüt olarak kamuoyunda da açıkladım. Yani sosyal medyada artık gerçek bilgilerle, kişisel kimlikle girilecek. Bu konuda zaten sosyal medya sunucularıyla da anlaştık. Onlar da bunu kabul ettiler.
Öyle mi?
Evet, anlaştık tabii.
TC kimlik de olabilecek.
Tabii elbette TC kimlik de olacak. Tabii geçiş süreci olacak. Yani bu sahte hesapların kapatılması için bir geçiş süreci olacak. Yani burada sosyal medya hesabını gerçek kimliğiyle kullanmayan sahte hesaplar ya da bot hesaplar dediğimiz hesapların da kapatılması için bir geçiş süreci olacak. Onlar da bu kurallara uymadıkları takdirde sosyal medya platformları da bunları kapatacak.
He announced that they've already got agreements with all the major social media platforms. In his words, a new era for social media is about to begin.
And they are not wasting any time. The government is pushing to get this entire system rolled out within just 3 months. That means platforms you use every day, Instagram, YouTube, X, are going to be required to enforce these identity rules on all of their Turkish users, and very, very soon.
Okay, so what does this law actually do? Well, the first major piece of it is a complete and total ban on social media accounts for anyone under the age of 15.
Now, to get a sense of just how intense this is, let's look at how other countries handle this kind of thing, right? A lot of them use ID checks, but usually just to block young users from seeing sensitive content. What Turkey is proposing goes way beyond that. It's a complete ban on even having an account.
And this brings up a really important question, one that the source material really zeroes in on. Is banning accounts actually going to protect kids from seeing things they shouldn't?
Well, according to the source we're looking at, the answer is a pretty blunt no. I mean, think about it. You don't need a YouTube account to watch a YouTube video, right? So the law doesn't stop kids from viewing content. What it stops is them participating. It stops them from posting, from sharing, and from criticizing. And that, the source argues, is the real bullseye, controlling who gets to have a voice.
And this idea of controlling who has a voice brings us straight to the most debated part of this whole law, mandatory ID verification for everybody else. We're talking about the potential end of online anonymity in Turkey.
So here's what that would mean in real life. Every single person in Turkey with a social media account would have to connect it to their official state ID. This would get rid of bots, sure, it would get rid of fake accounts, but it also gets rid of pseudonyms. Every post, every comment would be directly tied to a real person.
So how on earth would they pull this off? Well, the source suggests a few ways this could go down. It could be done through Turkey's official e-government website, which is called e-Devlet. Or maybe you'd have to directly upload a picture of your national ID. And then there's the one that gives a lot of people pause, biometric verification, using a scan of your face.
And this is where it gets really personal. The source includes a really stark warning from one analyst about this, who says your biometric data is the one thing you can't change. Think about that. Once a platform has a scan of your face, you can't get it back, ever. But, like with any huge new digital law, there are some pretty big questions about whether it can actually work in the real world. So let's get into the practical problems and the loopholes.
I mean, the source points out some massive challenges. What do you do about tourists or foreigners living in the country who don't have a Turkish ID? How do the platforms even tell them apart from citizens? And then, of course, there's the biggest digital escape hatch of all. What's to stop people from just using a VPN?
Right? A VPN, a virtual private network, can make it look like you're browsing from anywhere in the world. So if Turkey rolls out this ID law, a user could just flip on their VPN, set their location to, say, Germany, And to the social media company, it would just look like a German user. The Turkish rules wouldn't even apply. The whole system gets bypassed.
So when you see all these potential loopholes and critiques, it all seems to point to one big central question that the source material keeps coming back to. If this law is so easy to get around, is protecting children and fighting fake accounts the real goal? And the source offers a pretty clear and powerful answer to that question. It concludes that the real objective here is to identify and, in doing so, discourage critical voices online. If you link every single online comment to a real person's legal identity, the government gets a massive tool to chill dissent.
And that's really the core conflict at the heart of this entire debate. On one hand, the law is being sold as a tool for public protection, to make the internet a safer place, especially for kids. But on the other hand, it's being seen as a powerful new weapon for surveillance and information control.
And that's the question this whole thing really boils down to, isn't it? As this law starts to roll out over the next few months, the whole world is going to be watching to see which one it becomes. Is it a tool for safety, or is it a tool for control?